Hello there, YouTube. And welcome to a high that it's gotten to today is 53 degrees. It was crazy windy. It's been off and on raining, and the wind was blowing like crazy. Kelly and I going, well, it must be another storm coming in. As hard as the wind's blowing out there, but as it turns out, I think it's just wind. But it did dry everything out from the last rain. People always out there target practicing. We must have endless funds to be able to afford all that ammo. Right now, it's very peaceful out here at the moment. Danny was floating around. Oh, there he is. Hi, Danny boy. Good boy. What are you doing, huh? You're a good boy. I go out that door. Good Lord, I better take that dog with me, or he freaks out. I haven't sat in my bistro table. Oh, don't jump on me. That's a good boy. That's a good boy, Danny. You don't like all that, do you? That's because you dogs been out roaming around, getting into trouble. You're getting warning shots fired at you. Crazy old dogs. Nice and peaceful sitting here at my old table. So I was thinking about, because it looks like the rain's not going to be going away anytime soon today. It literally was not supposed to rain today. Earlier in the week, Kelly and I were saying we might get a ride in every day. Because, earlier it was showing it's going to be pretty warm. You know, in the 60s anyway. That wind at 54 degrees, 53, whatever it is. Oh, you down there. I thought some critter was crawling on me. It was just a D-dog. But anyway, I was thinking about my old Himalayan, because last time I rode that thing, and actually the time before, it just seems like, I know people complain that the valves tick more after you put, one of those Kent or tech cams in, which I think they're one and the same, but I have no proof of that. But anyway, that last time, of course, it's been a while since I rode it, so the noise seemed quite loud to me. And I thought, well, maybe I'll go out there and check the valves on it right quick. So I walked in there and looking at what kind of nightmare I've got to drag that thing out in a spot. I was going to pull it out from where it is. I was looking at it, I said, I was saying to myself, I can just drag Kelly's Himalayan off to the right a little bit, and then I'll just push it out, just move it out a little bit from where it's sitting, and there she goes. I'll be able to get in there. And the worst thing is I just filled the dadgum tank up too, so it's got a full tank of treated fuel in it. That's going to make the tank a lot more unruly to deal with, especially when you're unhooking the vent hose underneath the tank. You got to be careful, because if you lean too far forward, the arch in the tank could nick the frame, or worse yet, you could chip the paint on the tank. But I just ball up a blue shop towel, make it thick, and just set it up there. But anyway, let's go out there and look at the DR, see what kind of nightmare we got to make that work. I think I said DR when I was out there coming in here. So I came in, just what I thought, just unplugged the tender leads, whoom, just slide Kelly's Himalayan on the center stand over, and slid mine a little over on the center stand. You give her a couple of bumps forward. That's enough room to get onto both sides there. That dadgum tank is slam full in this thing. Son of a gun. That's where you want them, though, is to be full. But it's nice to plan something like that and come in with the tank a little bit lower. But I'm curious to see where the valves are on this thing. Oh, I came out, I don't know, was it a couple, 3 weeks ago, whatever. I'm sitting there, and it dawned on me I never reset the service light on the Classic 350. It's super easy. I mean, it's the craziest thing, easiest thing ever. You just you turn it on, make sure you're in trip 2. I think even if you're in trip 2, cycle back around to trip 2, turn the key off, hold the your set button or your info button that cycles through the different modes, which is clock, trip 1, trip 2, I think is all that's in there. But anyway, turn the key off, hold it for about 10 seconds, turn the key on while you're still holding it, and hold it for about 6 seconds more, and the little service reminder, little wrench thing goes away. And I don't remember, it seems like every one of them's got some weird way of doing it. The Himalayans, man, I forgot how to do that on this one too. I think you hold 2 things, or I forget, whatever, you get to it and you push and hold some buttons. Just grab your, well, what's funny is the owner's manual, and it might even say the same thing on the Himalayan. I hate when manufacturers do that. It says, see your local service center, because your bike needs a service, and they'll reset your service reminder. Nope, doing it myself. But YouTube is full of those answers. It's not in the owner's manual, and I'm trying to think. I think I might have actually found it in the service manual. I may have. That might have been where I found it. I just had it in the back of my head all along. You got to be in trip 2, turn the key off. I knew he was going to come back in here. Well, come on, buddy. Mosey yourself in here, dog. Well, the spot between the Himalayans is different, huh? That making your fight to go to your spot back there. Anyway, I think I'll tinker with that for a little bit. That's what I do. Is I just take one of those blue shop towels, fold it up a few times, because you need to slide it back to this first point, and then see if I can get this underneath here. You gotta reach in there and take. It's probably looking at everything but what I'm wanting it to look at. Oh yeah, the camera. Camera wigged out. Oh, it's in that weird follow me mode, I'm sorry. But anyway, you just reach in there with your hands. One's got a clamp on it, so I just use an angled set of needle nose, and just reach your hand underneath there. But as you're doing that, the tank is lifting up, and it's hitting the frame up in there, because you're lifting it up farther than the board. And then I just take the board out, slide the board out once I get it out, and just lift up. And then I got my trusty piece of cardboard to set the tank down on, and you go about pulling the tappet covers off. Pretty straightforward. I get people that sometimes will leave a nasty comment going, yeah, he rattled on a bunch, but he didn't show how to take the tank off, or something to that nature. Like, do I really need to do a video on how to take the tank off? But if it was something complex and unique, I would discuss it. Like just discussing how not to ding up your frame or chip the paint on the front of your tank. This is common with a lot of motorcycles. So you got a fuel level sensor that's over here, and you got which I wrap down, it's sitting here, the fuel hose. Got the fuel hose, and then the connector for the fuel pump. A lot of things have the fuel levels built into the pump. These are not. They got a separate bobber for the fuel level. Another little thing I do that doesn't take time to do. This is a fuel level sensor connector. This is the ignition coil, and what I do, excuse me, tank, is I just take the coil out. It's only 2 bolts, and then I've got the wire. You can make a little spacer with a zip tie and a piece of tube. Well, I'm not going to cut the zip tie. I just take the bolt out and just take the ignition coil out of the way, and that gives you extra room to get up there on the exhaust side. It's just easier to get in there. The intake's still going to be tight. One of the other things I'm going to do, if the valve clearance is correct, I'm going to very carefully pull the tappet out. You got to be careful. You don't want to drop that thing. Of course, it's got to make its way to the cam chain tunnel to get to a place you probably can't get back to it, but carefully take that thing out. I'm going to look down in there very carefully and make sure that the stem of the valve isn't pitting. I've seen that on bikes before, and frighteningly, I think I came across a video of a guy where his valves were doing that, but I think he had a tremendous amount of miles on it, so that may not be an issue with this one at all, but with the low miles it has, but it's worth a look. That's, if the valve's loose, then, you know, I know what it is. And like I say, it just may be a sound this thing's just going to make. But it's better to know than to always guess. I hate just going, God, I always wondered, should I have just checked that thing or what? So I did find a valve off, the exhaust, which is usually the one that'll make the most noise. I very carefully pulled the tappet and lock nut out and looked at the surface area of the top of the valve stem. It's smooth as silk. There's no pitting or anything like that. Even if that was to eventually happen to this one, it's at the mileage it has, that shouldn't be a problem at all. But I did find so the intake is between 8 and, you know, 0.08 and 0.10 millimeters, or roughly 3 to 4 thousandths. And I'm finding the intake was about 0.13, or roughly about 5 thousandths. So it was the intake that was loose. So the exhaust being absolutely perfect, like I said, I pulled the tappet and lock nut out of it and checked it. So I'll go through the valves and obviously I'm going to have to reset the exhaust valve, but the intake definitely needs to be set. It could have been a mistake on my part from the get-go. And just so you know, if it starts pitting, it wouldn't show loose. It would be a loose valve, but the tappet starts to divot its way into the top of the valve. So your feeler gauge is meant to slide. It's not going to go through a hole. It won't ride in a pit, so it won't measure that pit. So you think you're adjusting the valves perfectly, and it's actually loose because the feeler gauge is going to read at the peak of kind of the rounded end of the tappet, and it's going to read the flatness of the top of the valve. So if it has a pit in the center of the valve stem, it's not going to see that. So you'll literally be setting them right, but they're actually loose. There's a way of getting around that. I've carried on with a bike that had a pitted valve, and I knew it did, and I just didn't want to take it apart and fix that at the time. So there are ways of getting around that, but you can't let it go too long, because the valve stem will start to mushroom, you know, like the head of a chisel that's, you know, been used a lot, how it mushrooms. Well, when that happens, you either have to grind the top of the valve or cut the top of the valve so that you can slide it through the valve guide to replace it. So if you know one's pitting on you, you can don't let that go on too long, because that'll turn around and bite you bad. Been there, done that. Anyway, get these things adjusted up, and I can't run it tonight because it's getting dark enough out there, and I don't know what the rain's doing, that I won't be able to not take it for a short run, and I'm not going to do that. So I'll just say by gosh, by golly, and say I fixed it, and just see if it sounds better. If it's still noisy, you know, I know this time they're dead on, and it's just the noise it's going to make, like I've said multiple times so far. Characteristic of the bike with that cam in it. But anyway, let's get this thing adjusted and buttoned up. Well, there she is, all buttoned up. Got the valves adjusted. Everything's all put back together, torqued down. Just got to put the tank back on, and that'll be it. We'll have to, hopefully it'll be nice over the next couple of days. It's supposed to be fairly nice today and go for a rip on it. Go play. See how she works out. See if she's quieter. It's definitely gonna be quieter. How much, I don't know. So, I set both the intake and exhaust on the tighter end of the specs. So, because I had to redo the exhaust when I was back in there too. So, hopefully that'll be it. Let's get the tank on and that'll be it. Tools are put away, bikes are put away, everybody's back on. Whoa! One's not on its tender. I put the Grom back on. But, I put remember I bought that premium seat for that thing, and I didn't like it. It felt like it was pushing me forward. Well, I went ahead and put it back on. The only way you can tell the difference is it says, RE on the seat. So I put that on. But it'll be interesting to see how this thing comes out. See if it made it any quieter. If not, then I know. It's got to be a little bit quieter because that intake was loose. Not loose enough that I think it'd make a bunch of noise, but you never know. But here we are. Quick valve adjustment. Royal Enfield, super simple. Super easy. Just no big deal. But literally the hardest part is probably taking the tank off. That's it. Only because it was full. But anyway, on that, I'm going to bounce. Get with the little woman and we'll do a goodbye. And that's probably enough to call it a day. So I'm going to roll at that. Well, hello there, you two. Man, what a kickback day it's been today. Mm-hmm. That off and on rain and just had that cozy, want to sit down by the fire and cuddle up to a good movie kind of a thing.
I know.
So Kelly's watching craft stuff, her TV shows, and I watched a bunch of videos and took forever to build today's video because I was just distracted looking at different things and going, it's raining, I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot anyway, so I'll go out there and do the Himalayan. That'll be my vlog of the day. But it needed to be done anyway, so hopefully, tighten up that exhaust or intake, getting it correctly. That was enough to quiet her down a bit. Because it seemed like it was noisier the last time. But in all fairness, it had been a while since I rode it last. So, that sound memory is not stuck in your head. So
yeah,
I was just thinking, wow, that thing's noisy. I need to check that thing. But anyway, that's that for that. Get a nice day, take her out there and go for a rip and see if it made a difference.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Maybe we can, hopefully, tomorrow or the next day is going to be nicer. Today was not supposed to be a rainy day.
I know. It's supposed to have a little bit of rain this morning, and that was supposed to be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
But that being said, it hasn't rained in probably the last 2 or 3 hours. So.
Yeah, knock on wood, but it's cold.
Yeah, you look at these clouds, and something's going to unleash at any moment. But anyway, on that, I think we're going to roll out on you.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. And you guys have an amazing Sunday and Monday.
Heck yeah. All right. Hope for a nicer day tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.